Good morning. Welcome back to Digital Perspectives, everybody. I'm Brad Kimes. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley at the top of the screen. All right, we got a lot to talk about, and I'm excited about it. So, first of all, I want to shout out to XRP Crypto Wolf, DJ Peter Vass, and Michael Val 5 Links. I mean, these guys are they just don't quit, and it's pretty remarkable what they do and how gracious they are to the community. So, appreciate everything that they bring to us. Let's go ahead and get into this because I'm seeing a clear narrative here of developments that are happening that we have been waiting for a very long time, or at least I know I have. Again, these are fundamental things that are shifting. Some of it is regulatory policy. Some of it is infrastructure for regulation. Let's just go ahead and get into this thing. So we recently had the Unitize conference that happened. Cointelegraph covered that, and I've covered several people in it already that made some really great comments in their interviews. And this was another little takeaway that I want to share with you. I want to lay these things out for you and see if they have the same impact for you that they do for me, because I believe that they will. So, all right, looking at this, Heath Tarbert, the current chairman of the United States Commodities Futures Trade Commission, predicted that altcoin futures trading in the country will happen once cryptos get more regulatory clarity, stating, "Unlike my prediction about Ether, at this point, I don't see anything on the horizon, but I think it is inevitable that in the future, once major classes of digital assets receive the clarity on whether they are securities or commodities, you'll start to see them also be listed, particularly as they get more popular and people do see them as a store of value." Now, that's exciting for me because, again, futures are just another product that can be sold and traded on top of the underlying asset, the digital asset, whatever that particular asset may or may not be, right? So you're either talking Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. Now, we know that there's Bitcoin futures. I believe there may even be Ethereum futures in some places already, but I know that there's XRP futures out of London, which used to be Crypto Facilities, which is now owned by Kraken. So, but they're not worldwide yet. And Binance, I believe, started selling futures, but now they don't have right now currently the XRP futures that they offer, or at least when they started, unless that's changed, does not have a term limit, so they're open-ended. So as the space matures, I would expect that to change. So then you would get a 1-month future contract, a quarterly contract, and maybe even 2 quarters. So we'll keep an eye on that as the market matures, but it really does show a step towards market maturity when you see the futures contracts introduced on top of the underlying assets. Again, remember, not only are they products that you can invest in and trade, but the reality is that futures also become like a control mechanism to some degree, right? You can use those to invest heavily to long and short the market and not just be long on the asset itself. So, and it's also a great way when you introduce futures to help really come up with more solid price discovery than we currently have in the space. So, all right, let's move to the next piece of information here. And this is a recent report informs that Singapore has developed a fully functional blockchain-based payments network allowing faster and cheaper international settlements. The team behind it, including investment giant Temasek, I may be saying it wrong, but U.S. multinational bank JP Morgan. Let's take a look at this article really quickly here. A recent report informs that Singapore has developed a fully functional blockchain-based network allowing faster and cheaper international settlements. The team behind it, including giant Temasek and U.S. multinational bank JP Morgan, is finalizing technical details for the prototype, and the final product should arrive soon. According to the report from Reuters, local authorities announced earlier today that the platform called Project Ubin has been developed to serve as a blockchain-based payments network. The project is currently in its 5th and final phase, whereas the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, will team up with the state-owned investor Temasek and JP Morgan, the trio partner to develop the network, which lowers the cost of international multi-currency payments. MAS and Temasek specified in a joint statement that the prototype will also incorporate several commercial applications apart from the cross-border payments in multiple currencies. Those include foreign currency exchange settlement of foreign currency denomination securities and more. Now that part's important. Those include foreign currency exchange settlement of foreign currency denominated securities and more. This is enormous what they're talking about here. And an international settlement network modeled after this payments network prototype could enable faster and cheaper transactions than conventional cross-border payment channels, the two entities added in the announcement. Before officially rolling out the payment network to the public, the organization are planning to implement some technical improvements. The statement reads that they should spur further industry development. All right, now let's go ahead and move to the next piece because, like I said, there's a narrative here that is becoming quite clear to me. Bank of America, coming back home to the States here, is treating Bitcoin and Ether as cash. Will let you purchase crypto with credit cards. Now, true to fashion, just like a bank, and certainly just like Bank of America, check out what they've done. Okay, so let's get into this. So an image posted by a user in the subreddit showed Bank of America notice stating all cryptocurrencies purchases will be like a cash equivalent. This is interesting. Type of transactions, the section titled Type of Transactions has been refined to clarify cryptocurrency is considered a cash equivalent treated as a cash advance. Oh, so in the favor of all of us calling cryptocurrency cash, they decided to deem it as a cash advance, which means they're basically going to hit you with high fees, right? The thread commentators noted cash advances attract the highest fees of Bank of America at about 5% on all transfers or a minimum of $10. Wow. Their favors our nightmare, right? So just be careful, right? If you're going to use something, maybe to look at your options, maybe even consider opening an account that's more favorable with as far as fees and things if you want to get into crypto. I mean, I don't know. It's good, and it's also like a, it has a hook to it, right? So it's good that we're moving in the right direction, but they're looking to maximize their fees schedule for sure. All right, so then we have this. U.S. Secret Service shares how crypto is viewed from a law enforcement perspective. See, this is interesting because I covered this a while ago when it was first stated that they were talking about moving the Secret Service back to its original home where it came from, which was the U.S. Treasury. Outside of just protecting, important government, high-level government officials, the Secret Service originated as a money investigation crime unit for fraudulent counterfeit money. So this makes sense that they would move back and expand. So I'm going to read just a couple little pieces out of this, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. So as American remains vulnerable to life at home, new reality of the pandemic, cyber criminal activity is on the rise from both the usual suspects and new players. In a rare interview with the U.S. Secret Service, Jonah Force Hill, U.S. Cyber Policy Advisor, shares how criminals, old and new, have seen the pandemic as an opportunity to commit financial crimes against Americans. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is read this next part, and then we're going to skip down. He'll explain the role of the U.S. Secret Service extends beyond protecting the president to investigating crimes against U.S. financial system, including computer system hacks, digital currency crimes. Digital currency crimes. With the development of a new U.S. digital dollar in a tokenized form as a current discussion on Capitol Hill, the Secret Service's role may harken back to its original reason for being created, fighting counterfeit money. Pretty remarkable, right? So, okay, then there was this section that goes to show how long they've been aware and dealing with cryptocurrency. I found this spot very interesting if you know your history here. The Secret Service investigates crimes with a cryptocurrency nexus when they undermine the integrity of financial payment systems, are used in cases of fraud, are used as a means of money laundering. The Secret Service has a unique record of success in countering criminal uses of digital currencies, We have investigated and shut down 2 major centralized digital currencies that supported extensive criminal activity. eGold Ltd. in 2007, that's going back, and Liberty Reserve in 2013. Since then, the Secret Service has worked with our partners to investigate and shut down a number of illicit digital currency exchanges, including Western Express, which was prosecuted by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. So that was just to show how long the U.S. Secret Service has been in the game and been very aware of digital currencies and cybercrime. So it continues. White House budget plan has Secret Service back under the Treasury. Are you getting the narrative here? Is this on? Coinbase reportedly lands a contract to provide blockchain analytics to the U.S. Secret Service. I'm going to ask you again. You listening? Or are you just hearing it? Last month, it was reported that Coinbase was interested in selling its analytics software to the United States government's agencies. The block is telling us that Coinbase has landed a deal for the United States Secret Service that will run through 2024. The cryptocurrencies community's feelings on the news were split. Many crypto enthusiasts do not like to hear about blockchain companies making deals with regulators, but others take such deals as progress towards wider adoption. And I can tell you this guy does. All right, now let's go. There was a follow-up article to this as well. So, Coinbase CEO defends licensing of analytics platform to government's agency. Let's get down into this. Coinbase defends the licensing of its analytics software, saying if people really wanted privacy, privacy coins were around. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong took to Twitter to talk about Coinbase analytics and the company's practice of licensing out the platform, explaining why crypto exchanges must have some sort of analytics software to comply with banking regulations. Exchanges that maintain connections into the existing financial system, ability to connect your bank account, do wires, etc., so you can convert fiat to crypto, need to follow AML laws. And this often includes utilizing blockchain analytics software for transaction monitoring. Armstrong tweeted, "There is a lot that could be better about the existing AML laws, and we didn't create them, but those are the rules to operate a fiat to crypto exchange legally." The exchange came under fire on social media over the weekend after it licensed its blockchain analytics software to the U.S. Secret Service and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. As first reported by the block, Armstrong added that it's expensive to build an analytics platform, so they wanted to recoup the cost by selling it. He said that it was important to have analytics software, particularly as a means to encourage more interaction between fiat and crypto. The U.S. Secret Service has, in fact, increased its scrutiny of cyber crimes. Recently, law enforcement agency has launched a cyber fraud task force and focused on the role of cryptocurrencies in online illegal activities. The Coinbase CEO said transactions on public blockchain are already traceable even if the exchange never sold its analytics platform to other parties. If people want true privacy, the privacy coins are there for them. I'm a fan of privacy coins because I think everyone should have more financial privacy. It will be similar to how the internet moved HTTP to HTTPS over time, he said. Coinbase has been rumored to consider entering the stock market, but is still awaiting the green light from Securities Exchange Commission. The exchange also hired former Facebook Deputy General Counsel Paul Grewal to join its legal team, possibly as it prepares for an initial public offering, which it does appear they are doing. So this is exciting. Now, one more piece of news to tie this baby up. Let's go ahead and get into this because we looked at the domestic. We looked at what was happening in Singapore. Now let's look at the international plan, because these things tend to come from the top down. And this is what's exciting to me. The G20 lays regulatory groundwork for accepting digital payments. I'm sorry, I'm going to read that again. The G20 lays regulatory groundwork for accepting digital payments. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Digital currency payments may become a reality for G20 members before the next summit in Saudi Arabia. As reported by Kyodo News on July 11th, officials revealed that the G20 summit, comprising representatives from 19 countries in the European Union, will be laying a groundwork to accept digital payments. The changes are expected to begin in October, presumably at the G20 financial ministerial and deputies meeting in Washington, D.C., and before the next summit in Riyadh, or it might be Riyadh, in November. According to Japanese news outlet, G20 officials enacted the policy changes in response to China's progress on creating a digital yuan and Facebook's anticipated release of Libra. Cointelegraph reported in June that the People's Bank of China National Council for Social Security announced the completion of the back-end architecture development of the country's central bank digital currency, CBDC. Changing positions on the digital currency during the 2019 G20 summit in Osaka, leaders stated that the cryptocurrencies did not constitute a threat to monetary stability and the technological innovation could deliver significant benefits to the economy. However, in October, members said stablecoins posed a serious risk to public policy and financial regulations. I have to tell you, this is the kind of news I'm always excited to hear about. The G20 lays regulatory groundwork for accepting digital payments. Come on in. You know, when you look at I hope that when you look at the things that I've just laid out here, this is pretty remarkable. I feel like we are getting very close to seeing the world begin to use and accept digital payments for settlement in a very, very large way. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Share with somebody you know. I will catch you on the next one.